Dear students, welcome back to Chem Aspire. In this lecture class, we are going to discuss about Fajon's rule. Before going into the details, let us recall our understanding about the types of bonding. We know that there are two major types of bonding. One is called as ionic bond and the other one is called as the covalent bond. We know how an ionic bond is formed. An ionic bond is formed by the unequal sharing of electrons. The simple example we can think of is sodium chloride, right? In the formation of sodium chloride, Na will give one electron, will lose one electron, and that electron will be gained by Cl. Therefore, Na will get a positive charge and Cl will get a negative charge. The bond that is formed between these two ions are called as the ionic bond. Now let us know what is meant by a covalent bond. Covalent bond is formed by the equal sharing of electrons. Right? The simple example we can think of is hydrogen molecule. Right? We have two hydrogen atoms and each hydrogen atom will give one electron and these two electrons will form a bond. So such a bond is called as a covalent bond. So you have Na plus and Cl minus. So here we say the bond between this one is ionic bond. When you take hydrogen atoms, this hydrogen will give one electron and this will give one electron, and there is a mutual sharing of electron, and this is called as the covalent bond. This is known as the covalent bond. Now, in real practice, this ionic bond is not 100% ionic. And similarly, the covalent bond is not 100% covalent. That means what? There is some amount of covalent nature in the ionic bond, or there may be some amount of ionic character in the covalent bond. So this Fajon's rule is about the covalent character in the ionic compounds. Fajon's rule states about the covalent character in the ionic compounds. So with this understanding, let us go and see what are the postulates of Fajon's rule and how it is applied to various ionic complexes. So first, let us consider that there is a cation and an anion. Right? So you have a small positive cation. You know, cation is smaller in size and anion is bigger in size. This is your anion. This is cation and anion. Suppose say the cation and anion, when they approach closely, the net positive charge of the cation, attract the electron cloud of the anion, towards itself due to the electrostatic force of attraction existing between them. Right? So what we have seen, when a cation and an anion approaches closely, the positive charge of the cation attracts the electron cloud of the anion towards itself due to the electrostatic force of attraction. Electrostatic force. On the other hand, there is a repulsion that happens between the positive charge of the cation and the positive nucleus of the anion. There is also a repulsive force. There is an attractive force between the positive charge of the metal positive charge of the metal cation and the electrons, and there is a repulsion between the metal cation, positive charge of the metal cation, and the nucleus of the positive charge of the nucleus of the anion. Because of these attractive and the repulsive forces, because of these combined forces, right, the anion, the electron cloud of the anion remains no longer symmetrical. So initially, the electron, you have an electron cloud, electrons are here. So this electron cloud is symmetrical in nature, but because of these attractive and repulsive combined forces, the electron cloud of the nucleus is no longer symmetrical. Here, because of these combined forces, the electron cloud of the anion is attracted towards this cation. And that because of this attraction, the symmetrical nature of the electron cloud is disturbed and it is bulged or extended towards the positive cation. So initially and you can see, because of these combined forces, there is a bulging or extension of this electron cloud, attraction of the electron cloud towards this, and this is the process is called as the polarization, and this process is called as the polarization. So what we have seen now, we have a, suppose say when a cation and anion approaches together, the electron cloud of the anion is attracted towards the metal positive charge of the cation because of the electrostatic force of attraction, and there is also a repulsion which is happening between the positive charge of the cation and nucleus of the anion. Because of these combined forces, the electron cloud of the nucleus remains no longer symmetrical, right? So the electron cloud of the anion is bulged, or it is extended, or it is attracted towards the positive charge of the cation, and this process of bulging of the electron cloud of the anion towards the cation is called as polarization. So what is polarization? Polarization is the process of bulging of the electron cloud of the anion towards the cation is called as the polarization. Now this process is called as polarization. Now the anion is getting polarized. This anion is getting polarized, and we say that the anion is getting polarized by the cation. Now the anion is getting polarized by the cation, right? So we have studied the second term is polarizability of the anion. Here the anion is getting polarized by the cation, right? Third one is that the ability of the cation to polarize the anion is called as polarizing ability. What is polarizing ability? Or polarization power. Polarization power, right? What is polarization power or polarizing ability? The ability of the metal cation to polarize the anion is called as the polarization ability, polarizing power, or polarization ability, polarizing ability or polarization power. So here we have to understand that we say that when the metal cation and anion approaches together, metal is polarizing the cation is polarizing the anion, and there is another chance that the metal cation can also be polarized by the anion. First we say that the anion is polarized by the cation. There is a possibility that this cation can also be polarized by the anion, but actually in actual practice this cation, this is also happening, but it is not visible, or it is very meager, or we can say it is very negligible. That means the polarization of the cation by the anion is negligible because cation is already very small in size. So you cannot change any distortion or bulging of this cation. Therefore this process of polarization of the cation by the anion is negligible. So we have learned three terms. We know what is polarization, we know what is polarizability or here anion is said to be polarized. Then we know what is meant by polarization power, polarizing power or polarization ability, right? Now with this understanding, now we are passing on to the factors influencing the polarization. There are many factors. There are actually three factors which are going to influence the polarization. There are three factors which are going to influence the polarization. This were given by this concept was given by Fejon, and it is called as the Fejon's rule. So what are the three factors that affect polarization, right? Listen carefully. First factor is charge of the metal cation or the anion. Point number one, factor number one, charge of the metal cation and anion. Factor number two, size of the metal cation and anion. Factor number three, electronic configuration of the cation. Now let us explain one by one. The first factor affecting polarization is the charge of the cations or the anions. The polarizing ability of the cation to polarize the anion depends upon the charge of the cation, or we can say the polarizing power of the cation to polarize the anion increases with increase in the positive charge. So let us take the example of three cations, Na plus, Mg2 plus and Al3 plus. So out of these three ions, right? So Al3 plus, since it is having this cation, since it is having a more positive charge, the polarizing power of this Al3 plus is more when compared to Mg2 plus, which in turn more when compared to Na plus. So this can be proved, or this is evident from the three anhydrous chlorides of NaCl, MgCl2 and AlCl3. When you consider these chlorides, anhydrous chlorides, NaCl, MgCl2 and AlCl3, the covalent character is found to increase when we go from left to right. Therefore, the covalent character is increases when we go from NaCl to AlCl3, or we can say that AlCl3 is more covalent when compared to NaCl. And this covalent character of these chlorides can be evident from their melting points. We know that ionic compounds are having high melting point and covalent compounds are having the low melting point. Now you see the melting point of NaCl, which is more ionic, it is having melting point is greater than MgCl2, which is greater than AlCl3. We say that the covalent character decreases in this, increases in this order. AlCl3 is more covalent when compared to MgCl2, which in turn is more when compared to NaCl, right? And the other one is that regarding the polarizability of the anion, right? So we have seen the polarizing capacity of the cation. Now the polarizability of the anion increases with increase in the charges. So now let us take the example of Li2O and LiF. Here O is 2 minus, here it is F minus. So you know O2 minus, it is the charge is more. LiO2, the oxides of the metal are more covalent when compared to the fluorides, right? Since the charge of the anion is more, when you compare F minus and O2 minus, the charge of the anion is more, right? The LiO2, that is the oxides of metal are more covalent than the fluorides. So this is what we see under the charge of the cations and the anions. Right. Now the second factor that is affecting polarization is the size of the cation or anion. The second factor is the size of the cation or anion. The polarizing ability of the cation increases with a decrease in size. Here so when the size decreases, polarization ability or polarizing capacity increases. So now let us take these metal ions, Be2 plus, Mg2 plus, calcium 2 plus, strontium, barium and radium. You see that the polarizing power is in this order. That means beryllium 2 plus is having more polarizing power when compared to Mg2 plus, and when Ca2 plus, then comes Sr, then come barium, and then come radium 2 plus. So what is the reason for that? Why the polarizing capacity of Be2 plus is more when compared to barium or radium? The reason for that is the size of the metal cation, right? When you see the size of the metal cation, you see the cationic radii of these metal ions. You see here Be2 plus, it is 0.31, it is increasing, right? For Mg it is 0.65, for Ca2 plus it is 0.99, for strontium it is 1.13 angstrom, and for barium it is 1.35, and for radium it is 1.40, right? So because the cationic size is less, Be2 plus is having more polarizing power. Because since it is having more polarizing power, BeCl2 is more covalent when compared to others, right? So BeCl2 is more covalent when compared to the remaining. Now this covalent nature of this is being proved by their melting points. So melting point is one of the characteristic feature for finding out the covalent nature, right? You see the melting point of these chlorides, BeCl2, MgCl2, CaCl2, strontium and barium. You see beryllium chloride chloride is having low melting point when compared to other halides. Therefore, we say that Be2 plus is more covalent in nature when compared to the remaining chlorides, and this is having a more covalent nature because Be2 plus is having more polarizing capacity. Why it is having more polarizing capacity? Because it is cationic radii is small when compared to the remaining one. So this is regarding the size of the cation. Right, now coming to the size of the anion, right, the polarizability of the anion, increases with increase in the size of the anion. Right, here it polarizing capacity increases with the decrease in size of the cation. Here the polarizability of the anion increases with the increase in the size of the anion. So now let us take the examples of halides, right? So F minus, Cl minus, Br minus and I minus. When you take the size, iodine is bigger when compared to bromine, which is bigger when compared to Cl, and Cl is bigger when compared to F minus. Right, so iodine is having the more polarizing capacity. I minus is polarized more when compared to F minus. Why I2 is more polarized when compared to F minus? Iodine is bigger in size, so the electrons, outermost electrons, are far away from the nucleus. Therefore, it is very easy to remove the electron from the outermost shell of the iodine. So therefore, we say that I minus is polarized more when compared to the F minus. So again, this has been evidenced by the chlorides. You see the melting point of these halides: calcium fluoride, calcium chloride, calcium bromide and calcium iodide. Calcium iodide is having the melting point of 575 degrees C. Therefore, we say iodine is more polarized. Right, polarizability of I is greater. Therefore, CaI2 is showing a more covalent character. CaI2 is showing more covalent character, which is evidenced by the low melting point 575. Whereas you compare here CaF2, which is having more ionic character, and its melting point is 1392 degrees C. So this is regarding the size of the cation and anion. Now, the third factor which is affecting the polarization is the electronic configuration of the cation. Suppose say you have two cations, and these two cations are having the same charge and their cationic radii is also the same. But however, the polarizing capacity or polarizing ability of these two cations will differ depending upon their electronic configuration. I'll repeat once again. Say we have two cations, and these two cations are having the same charge. They are having the same charge, and they also have the same cationic radii. The size is also different, but polarizing capacity, polarizing ability of the cation of these two cations will be different depending upon the electronic configuration. So what is that? The cation which is having 18 electron configuration, it is given that cation having 18 electron configuration like S2 P6 D10, and this configuration is called as a pseudo inert gas configuration, right? So 18 electron configuration is having more capacity, or they are having more power to polarize the anion when compared to the cation which is having 8 electron configuration. Right? So suppose say let us take the example of specific example of Cu plus and Na plus. Take the example of Cu plus and Na plus. Cu plus, it is having 18 electron configuration, 18 electrons in the outermost shell, 3s2p6 d10 configuration. Whereas you take this Na plus is having 2s2p6 configuration, 8 electron configuration. So one is having 18 electron configuration and the other one is having the 8 electron configuration. Right, so 8 electron configuration, and both these things are having both Cu and Na are having the same one positive charge, and the size is also same. But however, the polarizing capacity of Cu2 plus is found to be more when compared to the polarizing capacity of Na plus, because Cu plus is having more is having the 18 electron configuration. So let us find out what is the reason for that and what is the melting point corresponding to these halides. See here the cations, metal cations, Cu plus, Ag plus and Au plus, they all have 18 electron configuration, whereas Na plus, K plus and Rb plus, they have 8 electron configuration. When you see this, when you see the melting point of these halides, corresponding halides, CuCl is the melting point is 442, AgCl it is 455 and 170. They are having less melting point, low melting point when compared to Na plus, K plus and Rb plus, that is NaCl, KCl and RbCl. Therefore we say that the cation which are having 18 electron configuration has the more polarizing ability than the cation which is having 18 electron configuration, and this has been justified by the presence of low melting point observed in the cases of these halides, and these compounds are found to be covalent. They have the more covalent character when compared to NaCl, KCl and RbCl. So dear students, in this class we have discussed about the important topics like polarization, polarizing ability and polarizability of anion. Then we have been discussing about the various factors affecting polarization, such as charge of the metal cation and anion, size of the metal cation and anion, and the electronic configuration of the cation. That's it for today. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you.